Solubility is the property of a solute to dissolve in a solvent to form a homogeneous solution. Solubility is defined as the maximum amount of solute that can be dissolved in a specified amount of solvent at a specific temperature. Solubility is the result of an interaction between particles of the solute and the solvent. Hence, it depends on the nature of the solute and the solvent, as well as on the temperature and pressure. However, note that the solubility of solids in liquids is independent of pressure. Let us first discuss the solubility of solids in liquids. The solubility of solids in liquids depends upon two factors, namely, the nature of the solute and solvent, and the temperature. Let's discuss how solubility depends on the nature of the solute and solvent. It is observed that while sodium chloride and sugar dissolve readily in water, naphthalene and anthracene do not. In general, solubility follows the rule like dissolves like. That is, a polar solute dissolves in a polar solvent, and a non-polar solute dissolves in a non-polar solvent. Therefore, polar or ionic molecules like sugar and sodium chloride dissolve in water molecules which are polar, while non-polar molecules like naphthalene and anthracene dissolve in solvents like benzene and carbon tetrachloride, which are non-polar. This behavior can be explained in terms of the interaction between particles of the solute and the solvent. The solubility of ionic compounds is the result of the strong electrostatic interaction between the ions of the solute and the polar molecules of the solvent. The solubility of non-polar solutes is the result of similar solute-solute, solute-solvent, and solvent-solvent interactions. When a solid solute is added to a solvent, its concentration in the solution increases. This process is known as dissolution. If you continue to add the solute, there will come a stage when no more of the solute can be dissolved in the solvent at a given temperature. A state of dynamic equilibrium is reached between the solute particles going into the solution and the solute particles separating out. Such a solution, in which no more of the solute can be dissolved at a given temperature, is called a saturated solution. Therefore, a solution in dynamic equilibrium with undissolved solute is a saturated solution and contains the maximum amount of solute dissolved in a given amount of solvent. The concentration of the solute in such a solution is its solubility. if any more solute is added to this saturated solution, it gets separated out, and the process is called precipitation. On the other hand, a solution in which more solute can be dissolved at a specific temperature is called an unsaturated solution. The solubility of a solute also depends on temperature. When a solid dissolves in a liquid, a change in the physical state of the solid takes place. Heat is required to break the bonds holding the molecules in the solid together. At the same time, heat is given off during the formation of new solute-solvent bonds. If the heat liberated in the dissolving process is greater than the heat required to break the solid apart, the net dissolving reaction is exothermic, as energy is given off in the process. It can be seen that as per Le Chatelier's principle, for an exothermic dissolution process, an increase in temperature inhibits the dissolving reaction, since excess heat is already being produced by the reaction. For salts like cerium sulfate and sodium carbonate monohydrate, an increase in temperature decreases solubility. On the other hand, if the heat given off in the dissolving reaction is less than the heat required to break the solid apart, the net dissolving reaction is endothermic. As per Le Chatelier's principle, for an endothermic dissolution reaction, more heat facilitates the dissolving reaction by providing energy to break the bonds in the solid. The solubility of most substances like sodium nitrate, sodium chloride, and potassium nitrate increases with an increase in temperature. The use of first aid instant cold packs is an application of this solubility principle. Ammonium nitrate is used in instant cold packs as its hydration is an endothermic process. That is, it requires heat. Therefore, heat is drawn from the surroundings and the pack feels cold. Note that the solubility of solids in liquids is independent of pressure, since solids and liquids do not compress appreciably when the pressure is increased.